Hey everybody, it's
Hi,
me.
Dr. Nick.
It's me and Darrell. Me and Darrell, and we are back once again.
Thank you, Cleveland.
We're not in Cleveland. Where are we, Darrell?
Well, it's gonna sound probably like we're in a warehouse, and
Which we're not,
but we pretty much are.
kind of.
Big ceilings, open pipes everywhere.
We're in the Museum of Natural History.
Wouldn't that be great? One day we will record from there, but no. For right now, we're in a big open room, kind of like Area 51. Remember last week when we were talking about Star Wars?
No.
I like that.
No,
That was fun.
I don't know what you're talking about. So we're gonna jump right into it, Darrell, with a couple of reviews that we wrote last week,
Okay,
or this past week.
we can do that.
You'd like to start us off? You wrote one for Agalloch.
Agalloch, I'm gonna do the entire review in this Batman voice.
Please don't.
Sorry, sorry. Ooh, got a little hoarse there. So let's talk about the band Agalloch. I know we both like them quite a bit. They are a beautiful, awesome band, kind of on the black metal side of things, from the Pacific Northwest. So we can be proud as Americans to have ownership of this band in some way. They have a new EP out. It's called Faustian Echoes, and this EP is one song and 22 minutes. And we've had this happen before with other bands, the whole one song EP or two song EP. It's kind of hit or miss. And this one, I liked it, but this whole thing could have, I feel like it could have been shorter and it wouldn't have lost any power whatsoever. It's all one, like I said, one track called Faustian Echoes, which is also the name of the EP, as I said before.
Batman voice.
But the problem is that I was just telling you, before we started recording, off the record, that it seems to be broken up into three distinct parts. So let's say they're all about 7 minutes each, and they all could have been probably 5 minutes and not really. I don't know. It was. I'm not going to say it was tough to get through.
Yeah. I was gonna say, did you feel like you just needed to skip on?
There were definitely a couple times where I kind of went like, okay, I'm ready to shift gears into the next part.
And it just never happened.
It just never did.
Yeah.
And like I said, we both like this band, but I'm curious to see what their next full length is like, because as I had said to you, if this was a full length, I probably would have been skipping through it pretty frequently. I mean, all that said, it's exactly what you would expect from them, but the one song EP, I guess it just didn't work this time.
It's been a while since they really released anything, hasn't it? I feel like
Yeah, I do feel like it has been a couple of years.
Yeah.
They're probably due for a full length, which I hope they do. And
Yeah.
I'm not sure what direction they'll go in, but hey, they're from the woods. What are you gonna do? We're gonna complain? No, they'll kill us.
Fight people in the woods.
Call in the reinforcements named Tyler.
Yep.
I didn't come here to talk, motherfucker. So Justin, hopefully
Yeah.
you had some better luck.
I did.
Let's talk about your band that you reviewed here. I believe the name of the band is Inbred Rain? Chocolate Rain?
Close.
Call me maybe?
It's Inborn Suffering.
I like how you said that. Inborn Suffering.
La, la, la.
Triumphant.
The album is called Regression to Nothingness.
That's a pretty dire title.
I like the word nothingness.
Oh yeah. Well, because you're kind of emo.
What?
You and your floppy hair and
Listen.
your gauges and
Gay what? Gay Jess. So these guys are from Paris, France.
excuse me, where?
France. They're from France, Darrell.
Oh, okay. I just couldn't understand. You suddenly got a very thick accent that I couldn't quite place.
These guys are fucking awesome. Let me just put that out there right now and say that they are fucking brutal, and I think I even used the word brutal in my review. I don't usually use that word very often.
I think we both tried to stay away from it, but I'm just going to throw that out there and see if the cat laps it up.
Yeah, I don't know what. But,
what kind of music are we talking about here, Justin, since it's so brutal?
It's a mixture of like death, doom metal, progressive, atmospheric.
Are you just throwing out a bunch of buzzwords?
No, I swear to gosh.
And by the way, you did use brutal in your review.
Yeah, that's
you
what I'm
said
saying.
the guitars are fucking brutal.
Oh yeah, I should have capitalized a couple times. But yeah, no, I mean that's why it's like That's why I think it's right down your alleys, because
You always say down my alley.
Yeah.
You know that the phrase is up your alley, right?
No.
Anyway, tell us about the album. You fucking jerk. I understand that it will rattle my subwoofers immediately.
Listen, all right. My favorite song on the album was actually the one that was, the title of the album, Regression to Nothingness, and the mixture of the strings and the double bass. I mean, it's almost like you could almost call it like a symphonic, like black metalish in a way, with the way some of the strings are. But I mean, the growls are definitely more towards, just vicious death metal growling. Not quite Opeth-ish, but I don't know how I would compare them. I don't know if you really can compare them. But I think it's a great album for like a newish band. I mean, I know they've been around for like 6-7 years. This is their second album. And
it's been 6 years since their last one.
Yeah, and just for that, I think that it's it's good to see. Hopefully I'm curious to see where they go after this, and maybe they find more success in this album, and write some more and be a little more consistent after this one.
Yeah, I'd like to see that too. I mean, there's a lot of questions about it, and I think you're right. I think the wording is great on all the songs, all the track titles: Slumber Asylum, Born Guilty, Grey Eden, Regression to Nothingness, Self-Contempt Kings. Those are all great song titles.
Yeah.
I'll have to ask them about that.
Yeah. Some of them kind of reminded me of like something Catatonia.
Yeah, I was going to Self-Contempt Kings reminds me of just thinking Catatonia.
But if you haven't listened to it yet, right?
Not yet. I have it waiting for me. I just haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah. I definitely got to check out their earlier work too, because I'm curious.
They're on Solitude Productions, who I've bought a lot of shit from.
Oh yeah.
So I should definitely try and get a hold of it.
Yeah. Well, moving on, you did another one for the band Earthrise.
Yes, I did. This is a sludge band, which, let's face it, Justin. Let's be honest. Before we started doing this website, I don't even think I used the word sludge to describe any sort of music. And now I think some of our favorite bands for the last couple of years, at least the last year or so since we've been doing the site, are some sludge bands.
Yeah.
Like Fister and Blizzard at Sea. And, I think there's a lot of really great sludge bands. They're heavier than post-rock, but not quite death metal, sitting in the middle. And this is another one. Earthrise is from Minnesota, and they just released their new album, Eras Lost. Eras, E-R-A, Eras. And I have a couple things to say about this album to summarize it. The music is awesome. There's a lot of like dense chugging in some parts, but there's also a lot of like atmospheric guitars, really intricate guitar work. It's not all just chugga chugga chugga. Mm-hmm. A lot of really intricate stuff. The drumming is absolutely out of this world. I cannot tell you how quick and precise this guy is. Every hit is exactly where it needs to be, and there's not a lot of dead air. So there's usually something going on drum-wise, whether it's cymbals or snares or toms or kicks. He just keeps it going.
Yeah.
Now, those are amazing things. The lyrics to the album are fucking amazing. Very deep, very well written, almost like poetry. But their delivery is where things get a little weird for me.
You mean the vocalists themselves?
Yes. I don't have a problem with screams, obviously, for the music we listen to.
Right.
But there's got to be a little variation somewhere. And sometimes if you go on with the same delivery for 10 songs, eventually it's going to kind of go like, okay. I know we actually had this conversation about one of the bands you reviewed a couple weeks ago. I don't remember who that was. But that was my only complaint about the whole thing, is that the vocals just don't change. And unfortunately, when you're doing... I hate to... Oh, man, I feel bad saying this. I know one of their influences is Between the Buried and Me. BT Bam, for those of you in the know.
Yep.
And that's what the vocals remind me of a lot.
Oh, okay.
So we've talked about BT Bam and the guy putting his hand up and yelling hot dog cart and chicken and sauce and whatever it is that he's yelling. If he yells chicken and sauce, we're suing his ass.
Yes,
we own that track title. But that's kind of what the vocals reminded me of. And it's fine in spurts, but there were actually moments in the album where I found myself waiting for the instrumental. hoping that the vocals would kind of fade out. So, on their Bandcamp site where you can listen to the album for free, they have all the lyrics to the song. So read the lyrics, and if you read along as he's screaming, it makes a lot more sense, and it's more enjoyable.
Right.
But definitely check that out. Earthrise.
So he's not a very good instrument himself.
No, I think that's probably a good way to put it.
Yeah.
But I definitely think they're one step away from being fucking awesome.
Wait, so what do they? Why is it? What do they sound like? Like what? You said they're like sludge. Is
Yep.
it? It's not. Doesn't sound like Fister though. The vocals.
No, the vocals do not sound like Fister. The vocals really sound like BT Bam. So imagine the music of Blizzard at Sea with vocals like BT Bam.
Yeah, the last time I even really listened to BT Bam was
When we saw them.
when we saw them.
We found out that he hasn't sucked a dick
Yeah,
yet.
and I remember he had some weird singing involved too.
Yeah, no, there's none of that on here.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is what it is, and it's not going to be for everybody. Just like everything that we've talked about, it's not going to be for everybody.
Yeah.
Now, Justin.
Yep.
To shift gears here, we're shifting gears. We're going to talk, or you specifically are going to talk about an album. The name of the band is Soundcrawler.
Yep.
And despite my insertion here that the album was self-titled, it's not. Mm-hmm. It's actually called The Sandcrawler, and appears to be about a worm.
Yeah, you thought I messed up there.
Well, I know it's never happened before. You never messed up like track titles or anything, or misspelled a word, or
never.
You sound Russian in half your reviews. I bet some of the people listening, when they're reading the reviews, they're like, okay, so this is some dude from America and some Russian guy who has problems pluralizing words. And the song is very good. So anyway, Justin, tell us about this worm, otherwise known as the Sandcrawler. Or the band, the Soundcrawler, either, whatever. Talk about either one.
Well, what I thought was interesting was, I was trying to figure out, I mean, in my own opinion, I was listing them as
well, I'm glad you're giving your own opinion, because the fact of the matter is, if you were offering my opinion, we'd have a problem here.
My opinion of what they were listed by...
Star Wars.
Was they were like hard southern rock, kind of.
Okay. So The Showdown?
The Showdown, not their new stuff.
Temptation Comes My Way?
Yeah, something like that, a little more.
I'm going to sneeze.
Look at that.
No, you will leave it in. You will leave that sneeze in. The people need to know that we are not robots.
Yeah, something along the lines of that, except the vocals were a little more... I don't know how to describe it. Maybe like a Black Label Society, not his voice, but I guess that kind of delivery in certain songs.
Okay.
But they were actually listed on on the Bandcamp site as like desert metal. Have you ever heard of that?
I don't know what that is.
Me neither, but it made me think I guess kind of, but I don't know what, maybe it was just because I was thinking about their album cover. Which
the worm in the sand.
Yeah,
I guess that makes sense, like the movie Tremors.
Desert, yeah. So,
where are they from, Justin?
France. Francais.
Oh, baguette.
Oui, us. So, yeah. The album's fine. It's not metal. Really?
You say that like so sad. It's not metal.
Yeah.
It's not
well,
metal.
because I was reviewing it, I was like, I don't know if I should, include this into our site, but...
Well, now, they consider themselves to be stoner metal?
That's what was listed on the site that I discovered them. So it's not their site.
Oh, okay. Well, we're going to have a word with that guy then.
Yeah, we're going to have to talk to them.
Our supplier.
I mean, I guess I could see some of the vocals I could see as like a stoner, because there is some like shouting, like messy shouting, but it's not very consistent.
Yeah.
And there's a lot. It's more like groovy, I guess. I know we hate that word. But
Yeah, we try to avoid using that word, but we seem to use it a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, it's definitely more like a rock and rollish, upbeat rock and rollish. The drums are awesome. That was one thing I really liked, was the drums. And it's not like consistent double bass, but it's like the use of double bass in the patterns are used a lot.
That's what I like, though. Sometimes the consistent use of double bass kind of wears on me.
Yeah, like it doesn't, just because someone's I mean, I think when you're a good drummer, when you can use double bass pedals.
I like the motion you're making with your hands.
And because they can see that. Instead of just constantly, who can do it faster and whatever. It's not just all about that, but it's like, the patterns you can throw in with toms and snares with it.
Exactly. Well, this is why, some of these like deathcore bands and
they think it's all about just who can pickles the drummer faster.
Exactly.
It's not all about that.
It's not all about that.
But
so you're saying that the drumming in this one is not like that. It's more controlled. And
and it changes up a lot. And that's one thing that made me really give it a shot still and listen through the whole thing. And I liked it. It's good. It's good music and it's something different. If you're looking for something different, I'd say check it out.
Well, that's good. They should check it out, especially. And we've talked about this before, but with this whole Bandcamp thing, there is no reason not to check this stuff out.
Oh yeah.
It's all at your disposal whenever you want it, wherever you want it, for free to listen to.
Yeah, why not?
And goddamn it, get on there, listen to a couple songs. If you like it, buy the album, because a lot of times these bands are putting these albums up for like what, $5?
Yeah.
For a digital download. That's awesome. That's cheaper than iTunes.
Some
and
are
you're
free.
Yeah.
A lot of
them are name your price.
Yeah, which is cool.
Which is cool, but you could give them $1 or a penny. You should throw them. Anytime I've done a name your price thing, I think I did that with the Nimbatus albums actually.
Oh, yeah.
I went, okay, well this is an EP, it's 5 songs. I would probably pay $6.99 for this in a store, so I gave them $6.99.
That's cool.
But so there you go. So the Soundcrawler, huh?
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Now a couple things we wanted to touch on quickly before we get into our little side topic here, our main focus. I wanted to ask you if you've heard the second Catatonia song from the new album.
No.
It's not the full song, but they have a little trailer for their European tour, which you didn't respond to my message. Their European tour, did you see who it is?
No.
Catatonia.
Why? Yeah, I assume.
Alcest.
What?
And Junius.
The fuck?
European tour.
What the fuck?
The message I sent you actually just said Catatonia, Alcest, Junius.
Wait, in a text message?
Yeah. And then I left it, and then a minute later or 2 minutes later I wrote European tour, just to piss you off, because I knew you'd be like, oh my god, we're going.
Bro, I didn't even...
I don't know. It might have been on my new phone here, and I might not have, it might not have sent properly.
Yeah.
But...
That's crazy.
That is an amazing tour. I can't even believe that those 3 bands, and we're not even going to get to see it.
That's alright. We've got to hang out with all of them before, except Junius.
Yeah, but we did do the interview with them, and they were awesome.
Yeah.
But, since we can't see that tour, we are going to see a tour next month, which will be Lamb of God, maybe.
Maybe.
Because Randy Blythe, they doubled his bail and extended his term and whatever. They don't know what the fuck's going on.
Can they do that? Just double someone's bail?
I don't fucking know. He said he makes $200,000 a year. So initially, they made his bail $200,000, and now I guess they made it $400,000.
Oh. Good thing he's been doing it for a couple of years now.
But now they're selling free Randy Blythe t-shirts to try and raise money. I think that whole concept is a little weird to me, to raise money for a guy who makes $200,000 a year. Raise money for us, motherfucker. Free sorrow eternal. We're in a warehouse.
Yeah.
We don't know if we're going to make it out alive. But anyway, so that tour, is going to be Lamb of God and Gojira, the mighty Gojira, which, have you not reviewed their new album, by the way?
Yeah, that's right.
What have you been doing?
I don't think I really listened. I didn't get to listen to it.
I don't think you did.
I feel like I skimmed through some of it. I was in a rush though.
You were Russian. Yep.
I was Russian.
Yep. From Moscow.
Yeah, but I still need to sit down and have a good listen, because that was their last album was my first review ever.
Yep.
And it was
The Way of All Flesh, right? No, From Mars to
no,
Sirius.
that was their the album.
That was your first review?
Yeah,
that was the first one you did.
Yeah, Years to Swallow the Sun.
Memories.
But remember how short it was?
I do. your opening paragraph
it's like
was like a sentence and a half.
Yeah.
But anyway, that tour, Lamb of God, maybe Gojira, Mighty, and Dethklok.
Who?
Dethklok.
Dethklok.
The Asian cover band. So I think we are now at the point where those of you who watch Metalocalypse know the season is over. Season 4 is done. And Justin here finally caught up and watched all the episodes back to 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 back. And fuck,